Sophie Cunningham isn't just a player filling a spot on the roster. She's a force of nature, a livewire, an unpredictable spark that shifts the very rhythm of the game the moment she steps onto the court. From her first dribble to the final buzzer, Sophie commands attention. The crowd leans forward, the tempo tightens. Everything feels alive, charged, ready to flip. That's Sophie's territory. The volatile, chaotic moments where games are won and lost. She doesn't thrive in the calm stretches where the clock ticks and possession flows without fuss. No, she's built for the friction, closing shooters down, chasing cutters like a heat-seeking missile, tagging screeners relentlessly, and barking out switches until the opponents finally crack. These are the plays hidden behind the highlight reels, the crucial little battles that win possessions and tilt the momentum. When Sophie shades a driver just enough to force a pass, denies a shooter until the defender becomes a wrestling opponent, or cuts off a roll to prevent a mismatch, she's not just playing defense. She's rewriting the playbook for grit. Her impact ripples further when you consider the chemistry she shares with Lexi Hall. Together, they're a defensive duo that defies convention. They cover the floor with surgical precision, communicate with a telepathic connection, and transform simple defensive actions into nightmare puzzles for their rivals. While others rack up points, Sophie and Lexi set the tone, slipping screens, setting punishing picks, crashing the boards, and locking down the league's elite wings. The pace and aggression they bring change the flow of every quarter they play. That's why Kelsey Mitchell, the team's lead scorer, calls Sophie the wild card. Far from randomness, Sophie is the X factor, the spark that flips momentum, shifts quarters, and keeps every player on edge. The coaches see it too. Nate Tibbetts knows the league demands toughness, and Sophie delivers. As a second-round pick who had to fight for every minute, she embraced the grind. She's the player who doesn't slip around screens, but runs right through them. The one who sprints, recovers, fights every possession like a championship hangs on it. And in fact, it often does. This toughness comes at a cost. Bruises, fouls, frustrations, but those aren't setbacks. They're battle scars marking her commitment. Minute by minute, play by play, Sophie earns her spot. Meaningful minutes aren't handed out in this league. They're bought with sweat, toughness, and relentless effort. And Sophie's ledger is full, but her value stretches beyond defense and hustle. It's a mindset, a way of playing that turns the role player into a keystone. Think of it like a hockey assist, the pass that sets up the pass, the box out that saves a rebound, the early rotation call that prevents a breakdown. Her voice on the floor raises energy, sharpens focus, tightens defense.
I mean, I think when you come in this league, from again, I'm learning this league as a second round pick. You got to have some toughness and grit to you, and she's embraced that role, and that's worked for them. And so I give Sophie credit because she competes at a high level.
Coach Stephanie White calls her an X factor, a game changer who doesn't just contribute points, but lifts the entire team's level. That leadership flows subtly but powerfully, energizing teammates, orchestrating covers, and turning defense into a dynamic, living system. On the court, one of Sophie's most compelling storylines is her rivalry and growing respect with Caitlin Clark. These two stars battle fiercely, pushing each other to new heights. Caitlin's playful jab about Sophie's looks hiding a powerhouse player was more than banter. It was a nod to Sophie's growing influence and rising star power. Beneath the competitive fire is a connection slowly strengthening, a bond that's reshaping league narratives on and off the court. Playing with such edge demands sacrifices. Every hard foul, every contested play, every defensive effort leaves physical and mental marks. Sophie's resilience shines brightest here. She's not just tough, she's relentless, earning her place by bearing down when others break, running through the trenches of the game when most would fall back. Her energy is contagious. Opponents respond variously. Some lash out, others try to match her intensity, but many find themselves overwhelmed by the unyielding pressure. Paige's calm exterior perfectly contrasts Sophie's nonstop hustle, creating a fascinating matchup of energy and poise. This dynamic fuels league drama, from in-game battles to locker room culture. When online negativity aimed at Sophie flared, teammates like Courtney Williams took a stand, shutting down the noise fiercely, protecting their own. The league still moves like family, where tearing down a teammate is simply not tolerated. The game's physicality reveals a brutal truth. Don't get punked is an unspoken rule everyone knows. Sophie lives on this fine line, the gray zone where skilled aggression meets respect. It's a place where reputations form, forged in battles that are messy, intense, and raw. This is Sophie's playground, the edge where most role players merely survive. Coaches and teammates uniformly cite Sophie as the backbone of the system. Her defensive energy and game IQ make every substitution a potential momentum shift. Whether it's Nate Tibbetts recognizing her versatility or Stephanie White praising her leadership, all acknowledge Sophie as the thermostat controlling the team's heartbeat. Her role may not always fill highlight reels, but it defines the team's identity. She is the pulse, the shield, the spark. Sophie Cunningham's story is one of defying labels and expectations. She's wild card, protector, leader, and enforcer rolled into one. Her presence commands attention not through flashy scoring, but by shifting the flow, drawing reactions from teammates and rivals alike, and earning respect with every possession. Few players in today's WNBA carry that kind of impact and influence, and Sophie ensures everyone knows her name.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
Born into an athletic family in Columbia, Missouri, Sophie's sports pedigree runs deep. With parents who were student athletes at the University of Missouri, athleticism was in her blood. Her early black belt in Taekwondo taught discipline and tenacity, traits that have become hallmarks of her basketball career. In high school, Sophie wasn't just a basketball star. She was multi-talented, competing also in volleyball and even stepping in as her football team's kicker when injury struck, showcasing a fearless willingness to contribute however needed. At the University of Missouri, Sophie excelled as a four-year starter for the Tigers, averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. Her senior year was punctuated by sharp shooting and leadership that caught national attention. Drafted 13th overall by Phoenix Mercury in 2019, the highest pick ever for Missouri, her pro career kicked off with significant expectations. With the Mercury, Sophie steadily grew from a role player to team stalwart, known especially for her hustle and defensive tenacity. In 2025, a 4-team trade sent her to the Indiana Fever, where she quickly became known as the team's enforcer and emotional leader. A viral moment came when she was ejected after defending teammate Caitlin Clark fiercely, an incident that defined her protective role and boosted her popularity both on social media and in the fan base. Sophie's career stats reflect her growth. Career highs include over 12 points per game in 2022, with strong shooting percentages and improving playmaking. But numbers only tell part of the story. The real impact lies in her effect on team chemistry, defensive effort, and leadership. Every game, Sophie exemplifies the intangible qualities that coaches covet: toughness, unselfishness, and relentless effort. From leading defensive communication to executing the unglamorous work that frees stars and widens gaps, Sophie rewrites game scripts one possession at a time. Her story is still unfolding, a blend of raw energy, tactical savvy, emotional grit, and personal growth. Sophie Cunningham is more than a player. She's a testament to perseverance, a case study in how dedication and heart can elevate a career and inspire a team. In a league filled with stars and headlines, Sophie stands apart, a wild card with a backbone of steel, the thermostat controlling the heat of every game. And for anyone watching, she's a reminder that in basketball, as in life, it's often the relentless spirit behind the scenes that makes all the difference.